All right. You're funny. Daniel, this is your whoop. Damn it. Yeah, Santa will bring you one. Oh my god. Daniel, this is your whoop. So a couple things about it. So this is the tiny pepper or fish pepper. I don't remember what it's called, but fish pepper. I don't know if that's the ESC and the FC is called something else, or the whole stack's called fish pepper. I don't know, but anyway, it's the fish pepper stack. It's got the built-in FR Sky with telemetry. You got to bind in D8 mode. You got the 12,000 kV motors, CM275T, the 2.0 plug, and I made it to where you don't have to worry about the pins pulling out. It's got heat shrink on each of the wires, and then a bigger piece of heat shrink over that's stuck to it. So those two heat shrinks are stuck together. So it's going to be pretty almost impossible to pull the pins out. One kind of little problem is that, and this is how I used to build these when I first started building them, and then I finally switched to having the USB in the back. I would just spin the flight controller. But in this situation, if I were to do that, have the USB out the back, then the battery cable would have been out the side over here, which wouldn't have been very good. So the USB has to be on this side, and like I said, this is how I used to build them, and it wasn't a big deal. It was just you had to unscrew this screw to this one standoff so that you can lift this up to get to the USB port. Not a big deal, because I mean, you don't have to plug in every day or whatever. You know, you shouldn't have to plug in at all, since this has a bind button on it. You should be able to just bind it and then go. I already set up, and I can message you and you can let me know how you like it. I can set it up for you, or I mean, like I said, it's just that one screw, not a big deal. And the bind button is right here in the very front. You can see it right there to the right of the standoff. Should be pretty easy to get to. Everything's working, everything's all good. I'm gonna conformal coat the wires and the ESC and ship it out today and send you tracking. What was I gonna talk about? Oh, this flight controller, I've used a couple of them already. For anybody that doesn't know, I've used Spektrum the whole time that I've known about quads, for over 3 years now. But the other day I got a QX7, so before that I didn't know anything about FR Sky or Free Sky, however you want to say it. So I'm learning a lot lately, but I didn't know. So Banggood sells this flight controller by itself, and I forgot what it's called. It's some letters and numbers, F8E something, I don't know. But they're selling this old version that has like it has a crappy regulator on it. It has like a 2.8 volt or something like that, and the newer ones have a 3.1. So I had built one with one of those flight controllers for a gentleman in Australia, and it got to him, and I didn't know about it. He got it, and he wasn't able to arm the motors until the battery got down below a certain voltage, which is not good. So he has to send that back, and I got to swap out the flight controller for another one. So beware, if you're ordering that flight controller off of Banggood, don't order it. They're selling an old version. There's plenty of other places that sell that flight controller. Get FPV, Ready to Fly Quads, Bold Clash, all those places, and a few more. So yeah, So this is good to go. I just finished my first Tiny Whoop brushed version. It turned out pretty good, except I'm not too happy with the flight controller. It's the B Core with the built-in DSM2. So first of all, it's DSM2, so it's not DSMX. And secondly, it's PPM, so the controls are a little bit laggy, which really sucks. I mean, you can really tell, you can really notice a difference in the throttle, and not really so much the controls, but mostly just the throttle response is a lot slower, so it kind of sucks, but it's not a big deal. It flies nice, and I can get used to that, no problem. But I got the gold motors, the B Core, the FX805, and it only weighs 20 grams, so I don't know if that's good or not, but oh, and it's the cockroach frame. 20 grams total, and it has quite a bit of power. I'm pretty impressed with it. I have built these before for other people, and I wasn't too impressed with the way they flew, but this one is actually quite fun. Pretty happy with it, and it's got some nice LEDs, some white up front and red in the back. It's pretty cool. So, yep, that's about all I got.